Hello, fellow gardeners. Well, we're going to tell you a little bit more about the story of the life that I have lived in the last 81 years. Not to brag or anything, but maybe somebody can be encouraged out of what struggles we have went through, how we've overcome some things and everything. Anyway, this tough living, no money and all, this went on for about 3 months. Hardly buying food for my 2 children. I couldn't pay the rent. I told Mr. Drummond, I said, my landlord, that I couldn't. I said, we just we're not making any money. I'm sorry, I just can't catch any fish. And he said, Leon, he's an older man. He was up in his 70s then, and I was just I was a teenager, 19, 20, no, I was 22, I guess, maybe 21, 22. Anyway, he said, Leon, that's okay. Catch up when you do make some money. And he said, I believe I can trust you. And I said, yes, sir, you can. I promise I will pay it as I make it. But things just kept going bad for us. Now we're 4 months behind on the rent. My wife was asking me what we were going to do. And I kept saying, things will change. God is testing us. We have to have faith. I did this to keep God's seventh-day Sabbath. He won't let us down. I just felt like I was having a trial, kind of like old Job was, whenever he was bragging about old Job. And Satan said, let me at him, I'll change him. And I feel like that's what happened, that God was saying, there's a young man that's going to follow me. And Satan probably said, let me make things tough for him, and he'll go back to working 7 days a week. He'll forget you. I really want to ask God about that when I get to heaven and see what kind of a deal he made on me. Now, folks, we just ate beans and potatoes and macaroni and cheese, and biscuits and water gravy. That's all we had to rotate 3 meals a day. But we did. Every meal, it was tough. Now, we didn't let on to the kids how poor we were. The kids thought we ate that because it was pretty good tasting food. But we bought it because it's the cheapest thing we could buy. I see people now saying they're having a hard time, and I feel for them. I've been there. We had hard times. But we were so proud we wouldn't ask for any help, except I did ask Mr. Drummond's to wait on the rent that I would pay him. But other than that, we didn't ask nobody for any help. We didn't go see if we could get any community help or anything. We were going to church every Sabbath, but people didn't know how hard it was. We didn't give much offering because we just had a few pennies to give. We went every Sabbath. We was always the first one there to church, and people could have said, how can you get here first when y'all coming the furthest? You're driving about 60 miles to church, and some of us live here in town. You beat us here. And I remember one Sabbath there, along in there, that the preacher was talking about, commercial fishermen are the lowest class of people they are. There was his chosen disciples was Peter, James, and John, which were fishermen. And he said they were the lowest class of people they were. And that kind of made me feel a little bad to know I was the lowest class there was. But anyway, he was just talking about Jesus went to the poor people, the low class, to get his helpers. He didn't go get rich people. And when Jesus comes back and I get to go to heaven with him and all the redeemed, I want to ask Jesus what kind of a deal he made with Satan over me to let him test me. So I want to tell you what happened next. The Gilt-Edge Dairy supervisor, he drove up at our house down here at the lake, come about an hour and a half from Paul's Valley. Got out of his car and come up and knocked on the door. I went to the door. I'd just come in from running my nets and didn't catch many fish. And there was Ben Penix, the supervisor. And he said, Leon, I want you to come back to work for Gilt Edge Dairy. We want you to be a supervisor over 5 routes. And I know you quit to keep the Saturday as a Sabbath, and we're going to let you off on every Saturday except 5 Saturdays a year. You're going to have 5 routes. You'll have to run a week's vacation for each one of those men. And before he could get that out of his mouth, I said, Mr. Penix, if I have to work one Sabbath, I might as well work all 52 of them. My wife's mouth dropped open because we were so hungry, so starving, so poor that she wanted me to go back and take that job. But I said, no, I can't do it. I chose to obey every week, take off the Sabbath, worship God, and work 6 days a week. Well, none of the needless to say, Mr. Penix went home unhappy. He thought a big salary would get me back, but I said, no. Now, my little wife was disappointed also. She said, Leon, you might want to reconsider because we're not making a living at this fishing you're doing. And I said, but I know we can. Other people are. I just think this is a test. God is testing us to see if we're going to be honest about keeping this Sabbath. I believe if we stand up for the Sabbath, God will bless us. Now, I understand why Virginia felt that way. We were living without money, flat broke. I know her parents would come down to see us every weekend, and I think they came down just to bring us groceries and give her some money. And Mr. Penix, he just knew I would break down and come back and take that job. Or my wife would talk me into it or something. And believe me, she tried to get me to go back and take it, but I said no. Now, I'm not demeaning my little wife. She was struggling trying to raise 2 children, she and I were. And later, after things go on down the road, if I don't forget, I want to tell you about it. But anyway, after things changed, she apologized to me and said, I'm sorry. I guess I just wasn't as strong as you were. We just so broke, I just wanted you to go back and make money. And I'm proud you did stand up for it. But anyway, I said no. Ben went home. I worked another 2 weeks of fishing and not catching any fish. We'd talk about it every night. My wife said, maybe you need to go take that job. And I say, no, I'm not going back. I made my decision. I'm going to keep these Saturdays as holy. I'm going to church every Saturday. I don't care if I don't make any money. But after 2 weeks, guess what happened? Coming into the spring, we're 6 months into fishing nearly. Coming into the spring, it started raining, and it rained, and it rained, and the lake started rising. And you know what? I started catching fish. I was catching a lot of fish. Matter of fact, I was catching 3 times as many fish as any of the other man that's fishing around me was catching. God was putting fish in my nets, blessing me. Man, I just knew what that check was going to be whenever the fish man came on Monday. Well, we weighed up my fish, $730 or $40 that he paid me there on that Monday. He gave me 7 $100 new $100 bills, 7 of them, and then he gave me another $30 or $40. We went, as soon as he left, we got our clothes changed, because I'd just been out and run the nets, and then I loaded all in my fish, and I smelled like fish, and I went and took a bath, put on clean clothes, and we went to town. First thing I did, I went to Mr. Drummond's, gave him 3 of those $100 bills for the 6 months I owed him. Remember, now, kept me keep up with him. That was 3 I paid him. We went on over to the grocery store, and we spent a $100 bill plus a little bit more over there on groceries. So that's another $100 bill gone. That's 4 of them gone. We went on over to the department store, and she bought the kids some new shoes where they'd outgrown the shoes. Remember, I had a boy and then a girl. And so they couldn't wear each other's clothes. Like if you had two boys, they could wear each other's clothes. They got outgrown them. But anyway, she spent another $100 bill plus a little bit there on them clothes. Now we've spent 3 and 1 and 2. That made 6 $100 bills we'd spent, broke out of the money. I mean, we'd spent them. So when we got home, my wife said, Leon, how much money you got left from what we've spent up there to get us by till he comes to Thursday to pick up fish? And so I pulled out my billfold, and guess what? I had 2 $100 bills in my billfold, plus some 20s and all a little bit of 20s and maybe 10s and 5s. But anyway, had over $200. Remember, I wasn't supposed to have over but 1, because I'd spent 3 for rent, 1 for groceries, and 2 at the department store. That was 6 of them out of the 7. But I had 2. And I said, the only thing I know could happen, Mr. Peters must have gave me 8 instead of 7. I'll give him 1 of them back. Now, the fish buyer came Thursday after he had paid me on Monday. And as soon as he drove up, the first thing I did was handing him a $100 bill, one of them new $100 bills. He wanted to know what that was for, and I said, it's yours. He said, how come? And I said, well, Mr. Peters, all I can figure out, you gave me 8 $100 bills the other day instead of 7. They must have been stuck together since it's new. Because I spent 6, and I had 2 left. So one of them is yours, and one of them's mine. And this flabbergasted Mr. Peters. He couldn't believe that I'd give him a $100 bill back after he had been gone, and there was no record of it. But there was a record of it. God knew it, and I knew it. And I did not want to keep that $100 bill that wasn't mine. And so I gave it back to him. And I want you to know, from that point on, every time Mr. Peters came, he always came to my house first and picked up my fish, and then went and loaded up the other places, just so I'd make sure he got all of my fish each time. And y'all gotta pay attention now and let the kids get around and listen, because now we're gonna learn the golden rule. What is that golden rule? Didn't it say, do unto others as they do unto you? No, that's not what it says. You don't do unto others as they do unto you. The golden rule says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, see, if I'd have gave somebody too much money, I would appreciate it if they'd gave it back to me. That's the way I'd want them to do. So that's the reason I need to do what is right with my fellow man. Remember, whatever you do from the day on, from this day forward, when it's not yours, give it back. If it belongs to somebody else, give it back. If you owe somebody, pay them as soon as you can. Anyway, we're going to stop the video right here. And if you like this video, punch the button, ring the bell. Those that haven't subscribed, please do. We're almost to 98,000 subscribers. We don't like much being to that 100,000 where we can get one of those buttons. Anyway, if you like it, tell us about it, and we'll go ahead and tell you some more about this.